So I have a word for you, and it's gonna be an inspirational word based upon my personal experiences as an individual over this past weekend. Okay, and we're gonna talk about it, but I'm gonna start with the word, and I'm gonna elaborate on what I went through, and hopefully it inspires you in a way that we always do. Okay, the word is this: we have to be the change we want to see in society, and have faith that it will be echoed back to us fourfold. I want to start off with the first part of that. We have to be the change we wish to seek. I'm a very protected magical creature. Very, very protected, okay? I don't travel without my onyx. I don't touch nobody without obsidian touching my skin. I'm very conscious of the energies of the world. But on Saturday of this past weekend, I chose to leave the house unprotected. On purpose. It was an overnight trip. I was going to Baltimore to see my fans for a beautiful meet and greet that we had. Okay? And I didn't think that I should strap up the same way I would if I was carrying my 50 suitcase, right? And that's a big ass suitcase. I can fit like 2 closets in that motherfucker. And that's typically where I pack my witchcraft, I pack my technology, I pack everything to broadcast the show where I'm at. But this time I just packed my backpack and I said, okay, let's go, we good. Not 2 minutes after I left the house, I broke my goddamn shoe. Okay? So I turn around, I come back in the house, I get me some flip-flops because my pedicure's cute. Right? And I was like, okay, you gotta take your shoes off at the airport anyway. I know flip-flops is a little taboo, but I don't give a fuck. I'm just going in and out. You know what I'm saying? I go back to the house. I open up the refrigerator on some subconscious shit, find a half a bottle of Hennessy that I didn't finish, pour it in a to-go cup, and then leave the house again. The energy of the planet, unbeknownst to me, is very damp right now. What do I mean by that? It feels like this. It feels just like this. And subconsciously, I didn't know I was rectifying that feeling with alcohol at the time. And I have no regrets about it. So don't think I feel bad about it. I was drunk. I was drunk. Okay? I was drunk. It is out of balance, you know, and typically even going to the store, I'm protected with my jewels. My jewelry is enchanted. I didn't enchant my grill because my mouth is gonna say whatever the hell it wants to say. You know what I'm saying? But I'm typically very conscious of the cocoon that is around me and the protection that is around me. I didn't pray before I left. I forgot to say the light of God goes before me. I did not do anything. I did not cast to protect myself in Baltimore. I just said we're going to go and we're going to experience. And what I experienced is not the planet. Now, the planet is sad, unfortunately. Okay, because we keep abusing the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? The planet is sad. We are not conscious of the pollution. We're not conscious of abusing Mother Earth. But it's always been a little sad, but now it's more sad than ever. But what I found interesting was the energy of people. People are drained. People are sluggishly going through life. And I don't want to claim ignorance because I read people every day. But what I recognize is that people's energy is doing this. And in my home, it is established that I'm doing this. So the balance with me is always something that's holding me down from getting too high. The balance I found when I left my house this weekend was I have to summon up energy to bring everybody else around me up. I mean, and it was everybody from the Uber drivers to the people at the bar of the airport to like business owners that I'm meeting in first class. Like everybody just had this almost hopeless, where is the fun aspect to them. The only time I got reprieve from that energy, the entire bon voyage, was when I sat at that table with my fans. That was the first time. Like, I had this moment where, and I was drunk, of course. I mean, I'm telling you, I was drunk the whole trip. Okay? I'm telling you, when I sat with my fans, I had this exhale, like, okay, I'm with my family. This is a comfort zone. And even though the energy around us is doing this, we managed to kind of float on that energy and have an immaculate bougie ass time. Okay? It was great. minute that I got into the Uber to go home, I'm feeling that heaviness again. And so I come back home. I was supposed to go to a baby shower. I didn't make the baby shower. Okay. But I guarantee I spent more on my gift than anybody at that baby shower. But by the time I got home, I was so depleted. I had to take yesterday off. I didn't even work yesterday. And I don't never miss a Monday, bitch. But I was just in a very cocoonistic state of trying to understand what is happening in the world. And as I'm dissecting that in my brain, locking myself in my room, I did not leave my room yesterday. I even had the delivery people deliver my food to my back door so I don't have to get up and go to the... I mean, it was really bad. It was really bad. That's because I'm an empath, and I do know as an empath there are certain spiritual things that you're always supposed to do. I mean, you've seen this travel across the world with me. You've seen this with me with Sherry Shepherd. You saw me have this in Hawaii. When else did you see me have this stone? This is my traveling stone of protection, and it always gets flagged at the TSA, but they always let me keep it in and go on through about my business, and if they didn't, I wouldn't go on that trip. I didn't have this with me. All I had was my assistant, Maya, who basically didn't mind about being fired at the end of the trip. And I had my manager, Keisha, and everybody was exhausted. But I will say this, Baltimore is a vibe. Okay? Even though I'm observing the energy of the planet be sad and people be drained, almost hopeless, and like, where's the fun again? Baltimore got a really cool energy. I'd love to see it when the pendulum swings back on the earth and we get some type of normality again to our society. Again, yesterday I took to just cocoon. I locked myself in my room. I was with my pets. My pets are extra cuddly right now because I think they knew I experienced energetic malfunction. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, I only remember feeling like this one other time, and it was when I went to Atlanta in my youth. Like everybody's just drained and over it. And then I'm going to God. First of all, I talk about what we got to do about that momentarily. But I got a flashback to the 90s. And I got a flashback in that moment of contemplation, like what is happening. I got a flashback to Blockbuster. Going to Blockbuster, I got a video game from Blockbuster. I got the snow caps that be at the front and that buttered popcorn that you can only get from the Blockbuster. I remember coming out the Blockbuster. I remember getting in the car with my mom, and I remember getting dropped off at soccer practice. Now, mind you, I can't kick a ball worth of shit, but I was kicking balls that day and putting them in my mouth even in my youth. And it brought me back to a place where we knew how to enjoy being alive again. And I honestly think that the world needs to be reminded of how to enjoy being alive again. You can't look to the news and propaganda to give you that energy. And as someone who generates, or I can't even take responsibility for generating that energy with you. I mean, I know that you guys watch me every single day because you are seeking that energy for your livelihood. I just didn't know how big of a responsibility that was in a land where people are feeling defeated. And that doesn't take away from the time we had in Baltimore. This was the first time I had a client slash fan slash friend, eight-year-long client, pay a $1,100 tab at a bougie ass restaurant. I've never had that happen. I've never had that happen. There were so many delays in getting to Baltimore. We ended up having to do the meet and greet at 9:30. I'm saying the word of the day is delayed. One of my clients, she said the word of the day is divine timing. I'm like, whoa, where have y'all been? Where have y'all been? You know, so that brings me to my next point. What do we do about it, right? Now, I was reminded yesterday in my cocoon space that I've been doing something about it. I've been showing up, entertaining you as the world is burning down. And for that, God gave me a pat on the back, and I appreciate you guys being receptive to that. just receptive to my version of entertainment and my spiritual gift. I mean, all of it. Like, you found something that can at least give you a boost for an hour a day. Something that's not strange, something that is not propaganda or bombarded with advertisements. I do this because I love it. I don't need the money at this point. I could take 5 to 10 years off and establish businesses and commercial real estate, but I show up here because you give me something too. Okay? And I feel like in order for the world to feel what we feel for this hour that we're on here, we need a bigger voice. You gotta remind people how to have fun again. Bro, you look at these goddamn concerts. Motherfuckers just standing there looking. I remember when I used to go to concerts, I used to turn up in that motherfucker. Clubs are the same way. Motherfuckers ain't dancing in the club. They're standing there judging each other and exchanging Instagrams. Like, I don't know if this is gonna lead me to opening up a church. Now I say church because you can't tax a church, bitch, and I'm real about my clothes. Okay? Or facilitate more of these meetups around the country. But I first need to inspire you to go out and do what I do for you an hour a day. It starts with you opening yourself up to that person sitting at the bar going through bereavement. It goes to you actually asking your Uber driver, how are you today? Are you good? It goes to paying that person's groceries who you see she only buying sandwich meat and bread. And you know you got $20 extra in your pocket. It takes for y'all to go out. You don't necessarily got to preach the gospel of Bootz. Just be a good fucking person. And it's crazy because you look at our politicians for that, who are supposed to be role models, and they're more petty than the Ku Klux Klan at this point. You know, you look to our elders for that, but they're still in the same realm, feeling as drained as we're drained. So where do we get our energy from? God. God, the human spirit, magic, witchcraft, whatever you believe in, it's got to come from something other than outside right now. Energy vampires, I hate it for you because this energy is stale as fuck. I'm sorry, and we naturally, as an empath, we feed off of energy and then we regurgitate it. We feed off of it and regurgitate. I was feeding off the most depressing energy, but I wasn't depressed. I was drunk. So this is not a call to arms like the Christians called to arms after the blasphemous opening of the Olympics. Can't even enjoy the goddamn Olympics without being a conspiracy. And typically I can handle that, but after being out in the world and then coming back to what is supposed to be an entertaining safe space, that being my social media, and I'm looking and somebody's getting shot in the face. And I'm looking and Kamala Harris is being called a DEI hire. Not even looking at her credentials. I'm looking at somebody tell us that if you don't got children, you don't have a stake in the United States of America while you're wearing darker eyeliner than I have on right now. I go on Twitter to try to relate to somebody, and what do I see? Kids getting their ass whooped. Which back in the day was very entertaining to me, but now it's like we got it. The universal consciousness of the human spirit is on a pendulum. And right now it has swung to the left. Okay? But the good thing about a pendulum is it will always swing back right. When is the last time we had somebody invent something? You don't even know. You don't even fucking know. But if I ask you the last time you seen somebody twerk, you can say 2 seconds ago on my Instagram. And I don't know, I don't want to turn into my grandmother. I don't want to turn into my mother constantly judging the state of the world. Because I'm very liberal, right? But I also feel like it's out of balance. And we need order. And that comes from somebody who I run on chaos magic. I love the shit. But enough is a lot. And that's why I know that my spirit is ascending. And hopefully yours is too with watching my content. The word I have for you is, be the change you wish to seek in the world for yourself. Okay, if I want a better world, I have to do better on my show. If I want somebody to help me, I have to help more people. If I want things to be better, I have to be better. Because when you come from that perspective, everything you touch is better. So don't think it's too big for you, because a lot of us, especially me, when it comes to voting anyway, I'm apathetic. I'm like, okay, my vote don't matter. It's not going, who cares about what I say? That person whose groceries you paid for cares. Aww. That person who you channeled their loved one and said they wanted a whiskey sour at that airport in the midst of all that depressing energy, she cares. Aww. She cares. She cares. And if it starts with you, trust me, it will multiply. I mean, look, we're almost at 1 million followers. And lastly, I want to reiterate something I said last week. We are in this shit, but we are not of this shit. I know we know people who are of the world, right? We're not that. And I say we because I administer 2 other goddesses, right? We're in this motherfucker, but the same shit that tickle that coochie don't tickle our coochie. So if we're not of it, then we have a purpose in changing it. And how do we change it? One good deed at a time and bettering ourselves. Hopefully the message reigns supreme. And also, let me just offer a word of empathy to you too. I have an entirely new perspective on how intense the energy is around people. I have not been ignorant. I feel it, but I filter it so that I can advise you. But when I was out there in that world over this weekend, I felt what you guys probably feel on an everyday basis. And I want to let you know, it's not easy. Being alive right now is not easy. The shifting tectonic plates of our governing forces is not easy. The propaganda that we get exposed to that keeps our vibration low as fuck, it's not easy to ascend past that. I feel you. I feel you. But we're here. So what the fuck we gonna do with it? Are we going to complain about the house that you're in that somebody really wishes they could have? Are we going to be upset that we're not eating crab legs like we see our homegirl eating in Ibiza? Are we going to be satisfied with the meal that you were able to prepare your kids that day? Aww. It's not easy. But neither is the last level in a video game. That's not easy. You couldn't play that last level unless you went to levels 1 through 99 first. So enjoy level 50, bitch. Because trust me, we with you on that level, and we going to get through it together. I'm done. And I mean that shit, and y'all know I be passionate when I be leaning into the camera. Like, I really want y'all to feel me, because I really felt y'all this weekend. And as enjoyable as the experience was, I was weeping for the planet. Like, I was really weeping. I was like damn near having suicidal thoughts and shit about this shit. Like, people are really out here depressed, bro. Like, for real. And I mean, most people can't even see outside of their circle of influence, their bubble. But I felt everyone. And I will make you feel better.